Hey, this is Tigo. You guys know where you are. You're at Expert Talk, my home, and I'm so happy you joined us again this week. Today, we've got Jennifer Hammond on the show. Hey, Jennifer, what's happening?
Yay! Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I admire you so much, and I love your passion for life and your passion for helping people. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Man, we went through the mountain, the hill, Titanic, almost everything to make this show happen. But you are here, you are here, you are here. And I want to thank you so much for being on.
Well, it's such a pleasure. I'm so excited. I just love, you have such a passion for helping people, and I love what you do. So thank you for sharing your stage with me.
You are quite welcome. Now let's talk about something, because a lot of people may know that voice. They're sitting there going, I know that voice. I've heard her before. Why do people know your voice? What did you do for a couple of months, a couple of years, 10, 12 years? Jennifer Hammond, you are the voice of
The Jennifer Hammond Show. Yay! On SiriusXM radio. I've been on for it's been about 12 years I've been on, and I love going on. Some of my other friends who also host shows, I go on their shows as well. So it has been an amazing time. And now I have my own podcast, which is so much fun because people can listen to the podcast anywhere in the world, which is also just so much fun. I love helping people. I'm similar to you. It's one of the reasons I love you so much. I love helping people, number one, understand real estate and be able to make good decisions in real estate. But I also love when people actually find that yay in every day. It's so important to me that you find a way to look for that silver lining, because there are silver linings everywhere. Even in this crazy pandemic and the crazy times that we're living in now, we can all find that silver lining. And I know on SiriusXM, many people know my yay because they've literally clipped it and put it on other shows now.
Ooh, okay. So let's wait. We got to back up, because I love telling how you got here. I mean, yep, you're the voice, and I'm so glad now we can put a face with the voice on my show. That is fantastic. But how did you end up on radio? Let's go back to Jennifer at 15. What were you like? Were you planning on being a personality? What was going on back then?
No, when I was 15, unfortunately, I had a younger sister who ended up going into the foster care system because my mother was an alcoholic and a very, very abusive mother. And my dad had left when we were little. And then unfortunately, my brother became a drug addict. And so at 15, life was not good. My sister was gone and she was being tossed around foster homes, and my brother was, deep into drugs, and he was on his way to jail, because of all the things he was getting into, the criminal mischief, shall we say. And so life was not good. And honestly, I just wanted to survive living with my mother. That was something I didn't even know if I could survive living with my mother. It was so bad. So for me at 15, all I wanted to do was survive and just somehow get out of the house and be able to just live, because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to live through. There were some very dangerous times when I was a kid.
That brings up something, because right now we're in the middle of COVID. None of us thought that this would be going on for a year. And I know you're out on the East Coast, and we're in Vegas. And out here in Vegas, we have a humongous suicide rate because the kids are being, they're trapped at home with abusive parents, or they're in a really bad situation. So as somebody who survived, you did survive, through a rough childhood, what would you say to those kids today that are just, they're literally praying for school to open? And you and I both can relate. We prayed for days off, and they're praying for the doors to open. What would you tell them to get through every day right now?
So one of the best things is to find something you love, like an art. If you're stuck inside the house, see if there's anything you can find that you love doing, whether it's music, whether it's singing, any of those things. And then one of the other most magical things even when I was a kid, I didn't understand the power of this, but I definitely did it. And that's to just do something very simple, like take a walk in your neighborhood. Just get out of the house and take a walk, because we all feel so trapped. And when you feel trapped, you don't make good decisions. And it is that helplessness. And as you know, also, I am so grateful for all veterans. Thank you for your service. And I'm also very passionate about that, the 21 a day, the veterans who commit suicide. And I know right now,
definitely.
We don't have a new number yet, at least not that I'm aware of, on how many additional veterans, but just from some of the stories I've heard, it's going to be, we're going to look back and see that this pandemic also took more of our veterans than we even realized, because again, they're having more challenges, just like a child who, if they're listening to this, know that there is a bright future, and there is rainbows do only show up in rainstorms and in thunderstorms. So some of the most beautiful things can come out of our transitions and our, I used to love that song that Kermit the Frog would sing, The Rainbow Connection.
I love that song too. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We're showing our kids side.
Exactly. We gotta have our kids side.
You and I have had many conversations. We only known each other for a few months, but it feels like you've been a part of my family for a while. And we've had a mini conversation. And one day you told me about going to college, that even in high school, you weren't sure that you were ever going to be able to go to college. There's a lot of people out there that are told you can't, you're never going to do this. You're never going to do that. And I want people to know, yeah, you can. Don't listen to the naysayers, as my mother used to say, make your way, is like to say. So what would you tell someone who just been told, yeah, you're going to graduate high school, and probably it'll be a, drive-by graduation in cars because of COVID, but, maybe you should join the military, or maybe you should just get a job at McDonald's because you're never going to make it in college?
Well, I would love to share just a little bit of my story, because in high school,
I would love you to.
If that's okay. In high school, my first year in my 9th grade, when I got to the high school, I got arrested. I don't think you even know this story. I got arrested.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the only time I've been in handcuffs, but they literally put my arms behind my back, and I got escorted out the first day of my 9th grade year. Not the way you want to make an impression, especially as a vulnerable, awkward teenager. And my sister's gone, goodness. My brother's gone, and this is awful for so many reasons. And I got arrested, and it was because, ironically, my mother, so that's the first day of school. Over the summer, at the beginning of summer, she had gone off on she had found a new boyfriend and decided to disappear. And she threw all my stuff out on the front lawn. And I was like, what? So she's like, you don't live here anymore. And she just had gone on one of her drug binges. And so next thing you know, I was trying to find a place to live. So I found a place to live, and I got a job, and I worked in a law firm 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, the whole summer. And she knew where I was. I made sure she knew where I was. She never came by to see me. She never called me. She never checked on me. And the first day of school, she showed up, even though she knew where I worked Monday through Friday at a law firm. She showed up, and she said that I was a runaway, I was a truant, and that I was a danger. And she told it was bad. And
oh my God.
And my brother, of course, was a juvenile delinquent, and my sister had been put away in a bunch of foster homes. And I couldn't believe she was this, it's funny because she was a dichotomy. She has passed away of cancer now, so she no longer walks this planet. But she was one of those people who had an artist side that was so beautiful, but just an awful, tragic, tortured soul. And she had no idea how to be a mother. And she said some of the most unbelievably cruel things. And one of them was over and over that I would never go to college, that I was too stupid to go to college. And then I would never make anything of myself. And the only hope I had was to marry a rich man. And then my guidance counselor, she convinced my guidance counselor as well that I was too stupid. And so they didn't put me in the college prep courses. They put me in the stupid courses. I took auto mechanics in high school. I was, the greasy fingers. And
so you can come change my oil?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
And I know how to,
Right.
I know all sorts of things about that engine, other than the fact that they're a little more computerized, obviously a lot more computerized, because that was a while ago.
Well, you only graduated, what, 4 or 5 years ago? It's not that
Yeah,
much different.
just a little, just a minute, a quick minute.
Wow.
It was at the end of school, and I had just hired somebody, and I found my dad. He was ironically living in Las Vegas in a trailer park, and I wrote him a letter, because back then we didn't have email or cell phones. And I said, "Hey, I'm your daughter. Do you want to know me?"
Oh my goodness.
And he called the law firm where I worked. And I was still going to work every day. I'd go after school, I'd work at the law firm. And he said, just go ahead and you can take a Greyhound bus, 52 hours to take a Greyhound bus from Key West, Florida to Las Vegas.
Wow.
And I agreed to it. And then I went in to tell my counselor, and I had a new guidance counselor my senior year. And he nicknamed me Green Eyes Hammond. And he said, "Hey, Green Eyes, I need to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." And then he said, "But I'm going to do something very inappropriate." And of course, unfortunately, and that's a longer story, I've been molested and I've been raped.
My goodness.
So when a man says he's going to do something inappropriate, I immediately started to kind of
red flags. Yeah.
Like, ah! And he closed the door and he said, "I need to talk to you." And because I had already told him I was 18. And even though I hadn't graduated from high school, I was leaving because I knew I was too stupid to do anything like college. And since I was too stupid anyway, I was just getting on a Greyhound bus to go find my dad. And he said, "I need to stop you." He said, "Because if you remember, we had this very amazing, just amazing principal in Key West High School. And his name was Tommy Roberts. And Tommy Roberts had been superintendent of the whole county school district. He had lived up in Miami. He came back to Key West because that was his high school, and he always wanted to be principal of his high school. So he came back, and his first day of work was the day I got arrested. My first day of my freshman year, 4 years ago. So he had watched me over those years struggle with my mother and just all sorts of, I won't even go into the chaos. So anyway, fast forward as I'm telling them goodbye, I'm leaving, I'm getting on a Greyhound bus, and I'm going to Las Vegas to go find my dad and see if he wants to know me. And I'm feeling awful, but I'm ready to go. I've got my stuff packed, and I'm living in one bag, and I'm going. And he said, they decided there's a committee. And so Tommy Roberts died over spring break. And he said, there's a committee with Tommy Roberts' wife. And this one always gets me. It still gets me because I know there are people who need to hear this story. And for me, I was not a good student. I was an average student. And that's one of the reasons that I have learned that we never want to just accept being average, because I was average in everything. And I was terrible at standardized tests. And my counselor said, "Well, you're a solid B student. You are not good at taking standardized tests." He keeps telling me these things. And I'm like, so I know all this bad news. I don't need anyone to tell me any more negative things about how I'm not going to be successful. And then he said, so the committee had no idea what to do to be able to award you a college scholarship. So his wife, Tommy Roberts' wife, said he used to come home and talk about you all the time and say, if somebody would just give that kid a break, she would really make something of herself. So they made the scholarship to be somebody who has potential. And so I was the very first recipient, and it was amazing. And it just gave me my first 2 years at the junior college. And it was so great because then I got a scholarship for 4 years, and I got my 4-year degree. So I got my 2-year degree, my 4-year degree, and then I went on for a master's, and I got a master's in public administration. Yay!
Wow. That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sitting here going, yeah, let's go. It's like listening to a great drama. We got to turn this into a movie. It's like listening to a complete great drama. And I love sharing a message to other people, not just children, but there are adults that are still trapped in their childhood that never found their potential and go, well, I can't do that. That's not me. And that, But really, I truly believe that if you get past your own limits, get out of your own way, then other people just can't stop you.
Yep, I agree. I agree. And one of the coolest parts, there's another story I'd love to share. I don't know if we have enough time.
Yeah, let's go.
One of the other really special stories that made a lot for me is if you fast forward into when I ended up landing in Washington, D.C., I realized that for me, one of the most important things was, and this is to me a secret, if you're listening to this right now and you're sad or you're depressed or you're just thinking, how do I get to the next level? One of the most important things is think about how you can help someone else. One of the neat things, when I wanted to get into real estate investing, I was dying to get into real estate investing. However, I was a woman, and back then, 25 years ago, women were not well accepted into the real estate investing circles. So I got my real estate sales license so I could be a salesperson. And then I found one of my friends who had gone to college, and I met him, and he was so fun, but he worked for a nonprofit. And so he made terrible, terrible money, but he was doing what he loved. And I was like, well, you just keep doing what you want. And he said, but I'm never going to be able to buy a house. And I said, that's not true. And so I went ahead and I helped him get a grant for his down payment, get all of his closing costs paid. Literally, it was cheaper for him to buy that house, not only on a monthly basis, what he paid monthly, but also he didn't need any cash out of pocket. It was amazing. And it's one of the programs is still around today. He literally didn't have to pay real estate taxes for 5 years. And when I handed him the keys at that settlement table, he literally had tears in his eyes. He said, I never thought I would own property. Never. And he said, you've made that possible. And that made me addicted. I was like, that's it. I found it. I love helping people. And I feel that way about real estate investing as well, but allowing people to understand you can definitely be a homeowner. And that's something that again, even for me, I didn't know that was going to be possible for me because we lost my home when I was a little girl.
Wow.
It was really bad.
Oh, wow. So with that, I think we're going to take a break and then we're going to come back. And when we come back, we're going to talk about something that you've got coming up where you're going to be helping possibly thousands of people do just that. Maybe be in real estate investing, maybe be a first-time home buyer. Jennifer's got the code for this. So you guys sit right there. We'll be right back. Hi, are you a business owner, an entrepreneur, or starting your own business and wish you had an opportunity to sit down with an expert in your field? Well, check your local listings and watch Expert Talk with Tigo. I'm Tigo, and I'll talk to you very soon. Welcome back, Jennifer Hammond. We're going to talk about the secret, what we started with earlier today, because you said you love helping people. I know that. But you've got something coming up that's going to help a lot of people. What are you doing in March? What is that you got going on?
I'm so excited. I am doing a virtual real estate investing summit. So if you've ever dreamed about being a real estate investor, this is what you would love. And the fun part is I brought together all of these amazing speakers, incredible speakers. So like, for instance, do you want to know tax strategies that the wealthy use? Yes.
Oh, who doesn't? Who doesn't? I mean, come on now. Yeah, now I want to attend.
Exactly. And then legal strategies. For real estate investing, you want to make sure you're protecting your investment. So we're going to have an amazing lawyer talk about the legal strategies, whether you need an LLC or other entities, a C corporation, all of the things that you need to kind of know to build that foundation of being a successful real estate investor. And then we've got more. We have so many incredible speakers. We're going to talk about funding. One of the biggest things I hear all the time, and I know you do as well, Tigo, is that people think they don't have money. If they don't have money, they can't get into real estate investing. And so we are going to go over no money down strategies. And not just, I mean, this is
wait. Is that real? Is that real? Can you really do no money down? It's not something you hear in the middle of the night on television, right?
It's so real.
It's real. It's so real.
And the thing that is so fun is it's anywhere. That's the other question I get all the time as well. It's not in my area. And believe me, I'm in the Washington, D.C. area, D.C., Virginia, and Maryland. And that's a hot market. Multiple offers sounds crazy. How are you possibly going to find deals in that kind of market? And I go back and forth to Florida. And Florida, there are deals everywhere in Florida. But I got to tell you, even in Vegas, everywhere, there are deals, but part of it is knowing how to find deals. Yes, there are deals in Vegas. Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about what you have to do requirement-wise. I mean, do you need a college degree to be able to be a real estate investor? Do you have to be over the age of 25 or 30? Is there a minimum age requirement? You know, can you be a disabled vet like me and be an investor? You know, what's the requirements?
That's one of the reasons I put it together was also I am so incredibly grateful and thank you for your service. I am so grateful to all veterans. I wanted them to be able to do virtual real estate investing. So being able to do it from your home, but also if you don't have any money, you're going to learn the power of OPM. Other people's money. Yeah. And that's the power of the wealthy, is learning to leverage not only other people's money, but other people's experience and other people's talents. Just like your accountant, your attorney, all of these people, those are going to be really, really important for you to be able to be successful, is building that. I used to call it the A team. And now, of course, I call it the Yay team, because you put them together and they help you find your Yay every day.
So where did Yay come from? Because I see it everywhere. We have it on the screen. That's the web address, Yay FM. But you say Yay in everything. It's on your websites. It's in your shows. When you do your interviews, you're so positive and have so much great energy. Where did Yay come from?
Well, it's funny because when I was on SiriusXM, I would do a live show and it came, you know, seriously from deep inside my soul when I would talk to people and they would call in and they would have awful situations that they were so confused and they didn't know what to do. And I would say, well, what we need to do. And then I go, I go through this whole answer. And then I would let them kind of repeat back. So I knew for sure that they understood it. And then I just couldn't help it. It would come right out of me. It would just burst out of me. I would go, yay! And I didn't even know that it was like that I was doing it so much until there was some other talk shows that clipped it and they use it for like when you win an award, you get the Jennifer Hammond, yay! Or like the Karen Hunter show on SiriusXM, she uses the Jennifer Hammond, yay! Every time there's a first time caller and she's on 5 days a week. So it was something that came out and that people really seem to respond to. And I love it when I've had any chance to meet someone who listened to me for years or even listened to me for a minute, they'll say, yay, as soon as they meet me. And it cheers me up. It makes people feel better. And to me, that is the rainbow in the storms. And there's been many storms. For me, my childhood was filled with just incredible storms and challenges to overcome. And now with the pandemic, we have storms, but we have rainbows. And so whatever your rainbow is, for me, it's the yay.
Well, everybody knows on my show, unfortunately, I'm strapped in with the networks and I've got 28 and a half minutes, not 29, not 28, but 28 and a half. And I have to hit that. So before I let you get out of here, I definitely want to go back and just make sure people understand, is this going to be something that's way over their tech level, you know, for your event? Do you have to already be in real estate? Do you have to understand real estate? Or are you going to start like with the glossary of defining what these words mean? Because you guys kind of speak your own language.
In fact, I love that. Thank you for asking that. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to start with the basics and the foundation. That's why we're going to have a lawyer. We're going to have a few different people that are talking about the basics. But I love explaining the words and the terms, because that's actually one of the secrets most people don't realize to why people are considered stupid. Even for me, I was called stupid a lot. And it has so much to do with the words. If you don't know the language, I mean, you just imagine that for a few minutes. If you were standing in a room and everybody was speaking a different language, how would you feel? So that will be one of the first things that we go over is the language, and then some examples. How would you apply that? So again, you don't feel like someone just was, spitting out answers for you. I want you to actually be able to apply it, because the knowledge, it doesn't mean anything unless you can apply it in your life. And real estate investing, it can empower you and change your wealth, not only for yourself, but for generations to come. So it's my heart to be able to give this. This is something when I used to go to real estate investing summits like this, I used to pay $10,000 to be able to have this many experts all come together. It's virtual. It's amazing for people. I'm so excited to have put this together, and it's out there for people now, so they can just log on, and it's gonna be exciting. Yay!
Okay, so that brings up two questions before I get you out of the hot seat. One question is, where you mentioned pandemic, I've mentioned pandemic, we can't help but mention it. It's all over the world. Can you start being in real estate investments during COVID, or do you have to wait for all this to be over?
No, right now, today, you can be out today finding your properties, getting them funded, and again, using other people's money. And you can make, one of our students that came through actually made $150,000. He's a bus driver in Philadelphia, and he made $150,000. That was his profit. Now, not everybody makes that. Some people make a couple thousand, or whatever. A lot of it has to do with how much you're willing to go into action. I'm going to give you the tools. Now, are you willing to go into action and actually apply those? Because a lot of times people come and they listen and then they never do it. But if you do it, it could change your life.
Okay, now you mentioned a minute ago, I've been in real estate summits before, and we paid a pretty penny to sit there and listen to not even half the people you're going to have in yours. You mentioned you spent as much as $10,000 to do one of these. So people are strapped with cash right now. How much is this going to cost them? $5,000, $10,000, $20,000? What are they looking at?
Well, if you come and you're there on March 5th, 6th, and 7th, you don't have to pay a penny. I'm giving that away for free. It's so powerful. Now, if you are somebody who wants to get a membership, then there will be a fee, and then you can watch it over an extended 90 days. 90 days you can watch it. But if you just want to come and show up and you are penny pinching, we want to open that door for you to be successful as a real estate investor, and that's why we're doing it. And again, go to yay.fm. So FM is like .com, but it's the new .com is www.yay.fm. Yay!
Okay, so we're going to make this really clear. It is free. It's 3 days. You're going to be teaching. All of these speakers that you're talking about, they're going to be in there, and they can see their lectures and learn this thing called real estate investing for free. Just block out the time and go in, because I'm blocking out my time. I'm going to be there. So just block out the time and go and check it out on the 5th, 6th, and 7th of March. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, and that's, of course, we're in the year 2021. But, one of the speakers we didn't even talk about is Jack Canfield. He's famous for Chicken Soup for the Soul. And I know, you love Jack Canfield.
I love Jack Canfield. He's there? He's going to be there?
Yes, he's there. And we're going to talk about the success principles, his famous book, as it applies to being a real estate investor. It's an amazing interview and so much fun. Oh my gosh, you're just going to love it.
You have one of my buddies in there, one of our buddies. You've got Lauren Michaels Harris. He was on the show a couple of weeks ago. He's coming in, right?
Yeah.
But is he a real estate investor? What is he coming in to talk about?
He's not. He's also coming in to talk about, for him as well, he went through many, many foster homes. And so what we talk is as a secrets to mindset, just like my yay, every one of us has to hear whatever it is that's gonna resonate with your soul, that makes you find your happiness and your smile again, because we all lose our smile from time to time, and we all lose that desire to continue on our purpose. And sometimes we have to go back and rekindle, what is our purpose? What do we really want to do? Do we want to help our family? Are we trying to help ourselves? Do you want to help your community become a better place? What is it that you want to do? And Lauren is masterful at this because he really shares his heart. There's some amazing speakers, right?
I can't wait. I cannot wait. Okay, March 5th, 6th, and 7th. I'm so there. I'm going. And we're going to learn about real estate investment, which is like the big secret. People don't share that. They don't tell regular people like me how you can get involved in that. You see these stories on television of people buying things with no money down, or people have multiple properties. You don't get that opportunity to be able to learn how they do this. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming on the show. And I definitely want to thank you for sharing your event. We're going to put the website up again, yay.fm, because what else will we call it? What is Jennifer Hammond? What is Jennifer's favorite word?
Yay!
Jennifer, I thank you so much for being on the show. I hope you'll come back, and we'll do a Q&A and go deeper, because we are so restricted by the network, but we could do a live stream maybe. What do you think?
Absolutely. Let's do it. I'd love to do question and answer and really inspire people. Go into action. You can do it. Show up on March 5th, 6th, and 7th.
How do you lose with a cheerleader like Jennifer Hammond in your corner? Come on. Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. I learned a lot. I'm going to learn even more on March 5th, 6th, and 7th. I'm going to check out Yay FM. And as always, I'm Tigo, and I'll talk to you next time.